Hey everybody, Hake Hardware here, and in this video we are going to do something that we really shouldn't do, but we're going to do it anyways, and that is install Nginx Proxy Manager in an LXC without Docker. So there's kind of a challenge with NPM, which is it is meant and built for Docker, and there's no real way to install it with like a deb package or like an install script like we have for Pi-hole. So what we have to do is basically download the source code, extract it, convert it from like a Docker file system to one that works with the LXC, build the front end, and then set up that service so that it works when we restart our LXCs in the future. And really, other than that, it's going to be the same. Now, why not just use Docker? Well, I'm moving everything just to pure LXCs whenever I can. Now, it's really up to you whether you want to just use Docker. The main reason why I am doing these new videos is because I want to get away from the helper scripts, and the helper script actually does what I'm about to do manually, automatically. And it has like an update script, so it's actually kind of nice. It is really a helper script, but I'm trying to learn and I'm trying to just be more secure with everything that I do. So anytime you're just running a script off the internet, it could be compromised. There's a lot of different ways to do that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the helper scripts. I haven't even like seen or heard of a case where any of those helper scripts have been compromised, but I'm trying to learn, and Docker is totally a valid way to do this. I'm just going to be doing it the way the helper script does. So I'm not going to justify it anymore. We're doing it. We're going to make it work. Prerequisites, you need to have Proxmox 9. You need to be able to SSH into your Proxmox host. You need to be able to have internet for downloading packages. We need to set a static IP address. For me, it's going to be 192.168.10.101. And what I do is I take the container ID and I append that to the end of the IP address. So that'll be the fourth octet in our IP address. And then you need to know what your gateway IP is. And this is all just so we can build the container. We have some system requirements here. They're pretty minimal, but let's get into it. So first thing you're going to want to do is, and if you follow the Pi-hole guide, which is amazing. You should definitely follow that. It's much easier than this one. You should not need to necessarily do all these different steps in the beginning, but we're going to do them anyways. This just updates your templates for your container. And then we're going to find the Debian 12 template. This is the one we want. So you'd copy that. And then you would just download it. So PVE AM download local. So we're downloading it to our local drive. And then this is the template. Now I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again. And then here we are creating the container. So I'm just going to run this, but on the left-hand side here, you can see all the specific things. So I'm going to be using container 101. This is my second container. Pi-hole was container ID 100. We have the template location, which is in locale, and then this is the template. Host name that's going to show up in Proxmox, so that'll be Nginx Proxy Manager. The amount of memory, the cores, where the root file system is going to go. So that's going to be local-lvm and net 0, so static IP. We're going to be using eth0 with the bridge vmbr0, which is the default. So as long as you didn't mess with your networking for Proxmox, this should be the default one. This is going to be our static IP address, our gateway IP address. It's going to be a non-privileged container. We are going to enable nesting. It should start on boot, and we're going to start the container immediately after deploying. So what that means, if we run pct status 101, we should see that it is running, which means we can now pct enter it. And we are now in our LXC container. First thing we always do is an update here, so this should only take a second. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install some base dependencies. These are just packages that you are going to need. You can just copy paste those in, but they're all pretty standard packages here. So let this install, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now we're going to install some Python dependencies. All right, now we need to install the certbot DNS multi package for Python, and we're going to install this globally, which is why you have to do the break system packages. That is fine. It sounds scary, but shouldn't do anything too bad. And then we're going to create a virtual environment for the certbot. So we'll just go ahead and paste that in there. And then we're going to be using OpenResty. That is what NPM uses. It's an Nginx fork. And what we're going to do is just get the key for it. And then we will add the repository. And then we will update and then install OpenResty. Okay, we got that all installed, and now we're going to get Node installed. We're going to use NVM for this, the Node version manager. So what we need is a few more dependencies here. That was quick. We're going to jump into our temp folder, and we're just going to, so you should go and get the latest release. Make sure it has the release tag for latest on it. For me, I know it's still 0.40.3, so we're just going to copy that. We're going to use wget to download it. Then we're going to extract it as a tar file, and then we're going to go into that folder, and we're going to, you can run less install. Again, we're doing this like the super secure way, which is we're downloading a release, we're going in and we're running the install.sh file because we know typically like these releases are scrutinized pretty well, and we can be confident that everything is good. So you can view less install.sh to read through the script. I'm just going to run /install.sh, and that is going to download everything, and then we just need to source the NVM script so that we can use NVM right away, and we can verify that with NVM -- version, and we see 0.40.3. And that command we ran, you can see at the following, it says you can close and reopen your terminal to start using NVM or run the following to use it now. So we just ran that thing that it provided us. And that is available in the guide here, which will actually be a Substack article that I will put in the description. I always forget to mention that. Okay, we're going to use Node 22, which is an LTS version. 24 is out, but this is totally fine to use 22. And the main reason why we're going to do that is it's stable, it's well tested, and it should be totally fine to use. So we're just going to check. We can see this is the one that we want. We just got the latest version 22 that is available. So we'll do nvm install 22.21.1. And then we're going to do two commands here. And this is actually fine. This is just because we haven't set our locales in the container. I'm just going to ignore this. You can fix it, but it just adds extra steps that we don't have to do. So I'm going to copy these next two commands. And this is basically saying use 22.21.1 and set the alias default to that as well. So we can see default is basically what it was before, but we just want to make sure that everything is good. And we can double check that by running node -- version, and we can see Node is using the correct version. Okay, now NVM typically installs in the user directory, but we want to make sure that it's available system-wide. So we're just going to run this bundle of commands here and gets everything set up, and we can verify that by using the user local bin node version, and we get this printed out, which is exactly what we wanted. So this path now works as it should. Okay, let's do a little bit of cleanup here. So we're basically just going to delete some files that we don't need anymore. That folder that we extracted along with the tar file that we extracted, we no longer need those. They shouldn't be in here, and they are not. All right, now we're going to install PNP, just a package manager, and does it really quick. We can verify as usual by using the -- version. We can see that it's installed, and now we are finally to downloading the Nginx Proxy Manager source. Now we're only on step 8 of like 22. We're already in temp directory, so I'm not going to run that one, but we are going to, you're going to want to go to the, I'll add a link to this. Oh, actually it's up here. So you're going to want to go to this and find the latest release. Again, make sure you find the one with the latest tag, because actually right now there is one newer release, but we're not going to get that one because it's not actually like published as the latest. So let's wget this file, and then let's go ahead and extract it. And if you do have a different file, you just need to change these to the actual file name that you have downloaded. I'm going to cd into that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start moving things. So we're just going to copy, a lot of these are going to be like, we're going to copy a bunch of files at once. So we're just going to Control V, hit enter, and it runs all 4 of those. So just when we get big chunks like that, it's just too tedious to, I typically like to do one command at a time so that we can kind of see what we're doing. But a lot of these are just like, again, modifying the Docker system file system to work with the LXC. So some of these are just, we're just going to copy and paste them. The commands are explained in the guide. So if you want to learn and get a little bit better idea of what each of these commands actually does in the system, you can go in and do it through there. So here's like a big one. So we need to just make a bunch of directories, and we're just going to paste that in and hit enter. And all those directories have been made. We're going to set some permissions, and we're going to ensure the root owns the temp directory. And then we're going to start copying a few more files. Luckily, all this stuff is pretty quick. Let's do the configuration link here, and then we're going to do some configuring the DNS resolvers. We're going to generate a dummy SSL certificate. And then now we're going to start building the front end. So this is going to be actually what you see when you go to the IP address. This actually does take some time, so I'm going to let it run. And I'll bring you back once it's done. You're just going to see like a bunch of stuff print out basically when you run this. All right, we are finished. You might see some warnings. Don't worry about that. Most of that stuff is, actually all that stuff is not going to impact anything. So we will now move to installing the application files. So let's go ahead, copy this command. We're going to paste it in there. And then we got a few more copy commands. And now we're going to get our database set up. So we'll just paste this into our production.json file. And then we will once again install some dependencies. And this shouldn't take nearly as long, but let's let it run, and we're already done. So I was going to bring it back, but didn't even have to. Okay, now we're going to actually be creating the systemd service for this to ensure that it is running when we need it to. Again, like all the things that we're doing are explained. I recommend checking out the Substack article if you want to be exactly sure what you're doing. Now we just need to configure the services for the container environment. Got some commands here. And then we are going to get the latest services with our systemctl daemon reload. And now we're going to want to actually run a few of these. So we can just run both of these at the same time. It's going to enable these. And then we're going to start them. And then wait about 5 seconds. I ran into an issue where I didn't do this, and I think the order that they started, the config didn't load correctly, so port 81 was not being used as it should. So we'll just do a quick reload here. And then we should be able to see that they're both running. Yeah. We'll just do a queue here to get out. And we should see an output for 81. So this means if you don't get any output here, run that reload OpenResty one more time, and then you should be good. So everything's good. I don't need to take a look at any of the journal CTL logs. Let's just do a little bit of cleanup. And then we can exit the container. And what we need to do now is check out our web interface. So I'm actually just going to copy this and let me hide Termius and Obsidian. And here I am, and we can see we have our Nginx Proxy Manager running at the IP address of 101. And to get to it, we can just paste in this URL, and boom, here we go. I know it's super bright. And what we're going to need to do is, what was it, admin or something? It is admin@example.com, and change me. And then the first thing you're going to want to do is put in your email. I just leave administrator and admin, and then you're going to do your password. So we'll do change me, and then whatever you want as your password. And that's it. So it is working, it's good to go. You could start setting up your proxy hosts and do some reverse proxies. This works really well with Pi-hole. I'm going to be doing the next video is going to be getting Nginx Proxy Manager and Pi-hole working together really well, where basically you can start creating real domains for all the services that you have where there's like a web front end. And we're going to do an SSL certificate through Cloudflare. There's other places you can do it. I've just already done it through Cloudflare and I understand how to do it, and it's actually really easy. So just stay tuned for that. That's going to be, actually, I'll probably do the SSL cert next, and then I'll do Pi-hole and Nginx Proxy Manager, how to set those up together. So subscribe, like, and whether you want to run this, oh, you know what? And one more thing, I'm actually going to probably do a Docker version of this because there are probably going to be some services that I run in Docker inside an LXC, and this may end up being one of them that I do because that was a lot of steps just to get this set up and running. And I don't know if it's worth it or not. Updating's not too bad, but you have to end up like copying more folders and stuff in. It might be a little too much. But I wanted to replicate the helper script just for anybody that wants to have a pure LXC with Nginx Proxy Manager installed. I'm going to try probably the Docker version out and see if maybe if it's basically the same and there's no downsides, I might just go with that, but we'll see. So anyways, I'll see you in the next one.